Hi everyone, I'm Sarina Fazan, a journalist, host, and producer, and welcome to On the Record. Seriously, my favorite day of the week, Wednesday, and especially today, because I'm doing a Love in America series with my dear friends Alex and Emily Harris. Here they are. So we are a little late today, but so worth it, because Alex, who is always on the go and a musician, had many appointments, and so I'm like, listen, all right, this is live. Who cares? We're waiting for Alex, right? Right, Em? We were gonna start the show at noon. We're like, you know what? We're gonna wait till he gets here. So to give a little bit of background, Alex is coming back on the record, right. And I actually met I met you guys at the very same time, but I got to know you first, Em, and then I said, oh my gosh, will you guys come back and share your love story? But Alex, share who you both are. We'll start with you.
Well, I'm a musician and writer. Also started the Arts Conservatory for Teens, which serves a lot of students throughout the county. Actually now, across the region, the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Clearwater areas. We started on 22nd Street in St. Petersburg, the historic Deuces, to provide accessibility to students who generally would not have opportunity to excel. And so our mission is education, empowerment, and enrichment. And so that's what we've been doing almost for 12 years. We piloted 3 years, and then we launched as a 501c3 9 years ago. We celebrate our 10-year anniversary next October.
Okay, he's so humble, which is so wonderful. I mean, honestly, it's so wonderful for all the things you do in the community. But you're also a musician that, pretty big deal. Yeah. Can we talk about that?
Sure. So we can talk about that as well. I wasn't sure what you were going to talk about, but I always put that out there because as a musician who we just had a single that has been on Billboard for more than 10 months. We made it to top 26 of the Billboard R&B charts, and we were #1 on the soul music indie charts worldwide. We were #1 in Europe as well on the largest soul R&B station. And so just pretty excited about all the things that's happening. Just got back from Nashville working with the legendary Steve Cropper. You may know his work as signing Otis Redding, but also co-writing Sitting on Dock of the Bay, Midnight Hour, and the list goes on. Soul Man, I'm a soul man. And working with Eddie Gore, Justina, also Shannon Sanders, who his work with NDRE, all of our big hits, multi-Grammy, Emmy, and Stellar Award winners. So it's just been really, really great to be able to do that. And going to be bringing Gregory Porter here and on October 1, and I'll be opening for him. And next week I'll be in Salt Lake opening for Matt Kearney. So all the Matt Kearney fans and Gregory Porter fans, come on out.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, so and Falling for You is the song that...
Falling for You is still available everywhere, Spotify, and will be forever available on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, which is Apple Music, and Amazon, and where else? Pandora, Stream It, Ask, Alexa, all helps, yeah.
Yeah, believe me, I play it, and he sang it here on the set. I was so excited, like several months ago, it was live on the set. Now you are just as much of a rock star, so share what you do. I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I'm the founder of Soul Media. We're a brand strategy and marketing firm, and we work with clients all over. I had the honor of working with you on a couple of projects, and which is so fun. But we help with digital marketing and brand strategy for firms. And I'm also the host of the Soul Collective, which is a top-rated spirituality podcast.
And you're so, both of you are just so beautiful on the inside and the outside, I have to say. Oh my gosh, so sweet. You guys have been married for just 2.5 years, right? Yes. So you're still newlyweds. But okay, let's talk about the love story. I love this because the proposal too. And oh, by the way, so we have a very, very special second half of the show because we have a special cameo appearance. Alex is also going to sing for us again. Yay! Yeah. We're going to do that in the second half of the show. But okay, talk to us about how you guys met
Well, we actually met about 13 years ago. So we've been married for 2.5 years, but we've been friends for much, much longer. And we met through a mutual friend. You know, she introduced us at an event that Alex was performing at. And we really were both kind of in the friend zone, you know, for quite a bit of time. And actually what happened was a funny story. We were working on an event. It was a, you know, philanthropic event, and we started, you know, coordinating it. So we would talk every morning, planning the event together. And he was performing at it. So, you know, the event was amazing, and he was, you know, performing at it. And my friends are sitting there, and they're like, "Who is that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's Alex. He's, you know, he's going to win a Grammy and a Nobel Peace Prize." And they're like, "Why are you not with him?" You know, and I'm like,
he's like, he's my friend.
Yeah, you know, just totally. And that was kind of a time that really brought us closer together, and we started to really see each other, I think, in a different way.
But okay, before we get to Alex, I'm sorry. So when you first met him, seriously, you weren't even thinking like romance or anything?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
He was the person that I would call every morning on the way to work. I would ask him for advice. I would talk to him about, you know, people I was dating, and you know.
No way. Okay. So Alex, though, are you thinking of Emily in the exact same light? Like, oh, she's just a friend, and I'm not interested in her at all.
No, not in the beginning, because I didn't know that at the time she was in a relationship. So with respect to two relationships, I didn't want to cross that, because I saw that she's a great person. But yeah, when I was new here, and I wasn't in a relationship, and that's what a single guy, I think, will do. If they see a nice, beautiful person they're interested in. And she was standing, like, you know, being who she is, very kind of quiet and just off to the side, and so I introduced myself, and then you know, prior to living here, I lived in Boston, and you know, if you just say hello, nothing to the Bostonians, because it's a place, is a melting pot.
And I'm from Boston, actually.
Yeah, she's from Boston. Yeah, and so, you know, when I was there and in college, and just to give a compliment, respectful compliment, that is, to a lady, they act like, and so I would stop them and say, I'm just, you know, giving a respectful compliment. The response is, "Thank you." And so, here, I said that to say that here, you know, when I met, she was extremely nice and cordial, and using her highest level of intelligence, and responded. And so I said, "Wow, that's cool." And she gave me a number. But, you know, but the thing is, what I learned, this is a network, but anyway, we became great friends, and I realized, and I said, you know, I value friendship over, you know, trying to do something and if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And, you know, just supported her. I became and I later refined my philosophy of relationships on building a solid friendship that you can go to each other, have conversations, deep conversations, and be able to support each other beyond just the romantic part of the relationship, and it works out. So, any advice to anybody that's thinking about the first time, a second time, or a third time, or a seventh, if you like. What's Liz Taylor, the late great, amazing Liz Taylor. Yeah.
So you are a class act, you know,
thank you very much.
you did. So you didn't want to, you know, because you were in a relationship, but. Yes, but probably like, oh, bummer. Like,
of course. So, you know, you don't know, but the truth of the matter is, and anyone would tell you, I think when there isn't a 100% commitment, that a ring on it, you if it's subconsciously, it's on your radar, just in case something doesn't work out. And in this case, a couple of times it didn't work out, so it happened. So we kind of surfaced back, and I was like, so you want to go get lunch or something like that? But it was always out of pure spirit and respect with where she was on the journey.
So, okay, which again, so respectful and so sweet. So, as you said, 13 and a half years ago you met. So when did it finally cross over into romance? Like, how many years into it?
like 3.5 years ago.
2017, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, 3.5 years ago. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got
And
engaged shortly after, yeah.
Yeah, and this is actually a funny story. So I was not quite there yet with like dating, and it just took me a little bit longer to, be there and we started off dating, but I think Alex knew, and I think that knowing gave me a lot of confidence in our relationship and in him, and allowed me to trust him on a deeper level. But he got the engagement ring like literally on one of our
like shortly after, because the reality
of our
is
first date.
Wait.
yeah.
Oh no,
I'm pretty
you guys.
intuitive. She has an intuitive program. Yeah,
Okay,
I'm pretty
because
intuitive.
we cannot do the short, we cannot do the Reader's Digest version. We have to do the New York Times version. Okay, so you've broken up, with the people. Do you feel like you're in a good place? Like you've been broken up for a good period of time?
Yes, and I think I was at that point where many people, it's like, I'm just going to focus on myself. I want nothing to do with dating, like not even having it, and that, a lot of times that's when it happens. But that was like my intention, was just really focus on myself at that time.
So then you do see Alex in a whole wow, he really could be my forever person. And then you guys go on the date. Okay, so now you go on a date. And so Alex, and was it like an official date, or did a kiss just happen? I'm just gonna get to it, because you guys have been friends, right? So you guys sitting there, and all of a sudden, there's, you see in those movies, and all of a sudden you lean over and you kiss each other, or was it an actual date?
Yeah, it was actually a date.
Yeah, he took me to the orchestra,
the Florida Orchestra,
which was really romantic.
Yeah, we had the kind of ride. We were from classical to Latin the same night, music to hip hop. So it was a very eclectic
We ended up
experience.
dancing at the end of the night. It was such a fun date.
Dancing under the stars.
Anytime we can get him to sing, it's
That was my kind of like jazz thing with Goyakwa.
So then shortly after the first date, you actually went and got the ring?
Yeah, about I would say almost a month after. Yeah, I was literally driving. I had this kind of aha moment, and my thing was that the worst case scenario is that it doesn't get her, and I just take the ring back.
Can you do that?
Huh?
Can you do that?
Yeah, you can sell it to somebody. You can take it. But
Sell it on eBay.
I don't know. But the reality is that I was very intuitive about where I was and where I thought Emily was and where she was going. Right. So I didn't want to be in a situation where, like, man, I should have gotten there. I got to wait. I think that you have to be prepared, and I think my creative instincts also around how I engage the creative moment. Like, you got to be there, ready to go. Somebody asks you, "Can you go?" Like, yes.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that Alex is so intuitive, because I had always kind of thought like it would be romantic to, if you know type of thing, and to get engaged, like 6 months or something, not like years and years after, just like for me personally. And it was about 6 months. So he waited for, quite a long time after having the ring.
So about 5 months after he got the ring.
Yeah.
So 1 month after the date, then he gets the ring. So then 5 months later, though, which is honestly, you're right, fairly quickly though, a lot of times in the dating world, because people do wait,
Right.
a year or 2 years sometimes. So you're holding on to this ring, and do you carry it with you every time you guys go on a date?
No. What happened, I knew, like I said, about the evolution of our relationship. And I think Christmas, and then it led to, I knew at some point, it wouldn't be at Christmas time, because I'm not a traditional person to say, oh, let's do it on a Christmas gift. Nothing for the folks who can't think outside that box. But I wanted to do something that would be special, and something that I didn't know. Another thing that Emily didn't discuss prior to, what her interest would be of how to do that. And I don't know when you want me to talk about that, so I won't say yet.
Oh, yeah. Because we're saving. We could talk about it now, though, if you'd like.
Of how the engagement happened?
Oh, yeah. No, that's so romantic. Yes,
Okay.
because what you plan for the engagement. And I have even asked him, like, is there any video? And we've not been able to find any video of how the engagement happened. Because yes, please share that story.
So,
it's such a sweet story.
So the progressive move of our evolving relationship, our friendship into a romantic relationship. And so I remember I didn't want to do Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's Eve or any of the holidays where it often happens. But I wanted to do it as in a special time. So one of our favorite artists, she had introduced me to this reggae artist, Terrace Riley. I don't know if you know him. But,
one of my favorite artists.
Yeah, one of Emily's favorite artists. She introduced me to him, and I like reggae music. I love music. And so he was coming to town. So she as a Christmas gift, she gave me tickets she said she got us tickets to go to see Terrace. I was like, oh, great, this is really cool. So, kind of make a long story short as I can without losing the substance.
Yes, New York Times version, not Reader's Digest.
So the day of the concert is February the 11th, so it's before Valentine. And she has just gotten this contract and she has to go out of town. And so she calls me and says that, I don't think I'm gonna be able to go because we got to leave early in the morning, but you can go with somebody else. So by this time, 2 days before, I'm wondering, okay, I got this ring and I think this is a time to do it, to propose, that is. And so so I had the person working with me at the time to say, no, I didn't even ask him. I was just saying, man, I wish I knew someone that knew Terrace Riley so I can, propose at the show. And so she said, wait a minute, what's the artist's name again? She said, if he's making noise, there's one person I know that would know him. So it happened, she calls a lady, and she said yes, and let me call him. So she got excited. Now this lady's in Jamaica.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding. Okay.
So this is the New York Times version. So she connects me, and then fast forward the day of, Emily can't go, right? And so,
You're probably like, you are kidding me.
No, I actually didn't. I said, okay, so now I'm asking, when is he coming back? So I said, my thing was, if it's to happen tonight, and this is the perfect timing as I thought it would be, then it's going to happen flawlessly. And so it happens, and it was, because the night of the event, the day of the event, I go and get dinner, and then Emily calls me because she had to get her nails done. And so she was getting her nails done because she's going out of town. I said, well, call me after you got your nails done. So in the meantime, I'm thinking that is off the list for that night.
And you guys think about it, okay? Getting your nails done, how perfect. Because if you're going to put a ring on the finger, you want the most perfectly manicured nails.
She can tell you about the nails job that night. So I call him, and I'm talking on the phone, and Emily says that she's coming. She said, you still want to go? And I said, well, we'll get there about 8 o'clock, so he probably won't get up before 9 if he's a headliner, right? Mm-hmm. He says, yeah. So I said, okay, we got time to get there. So then I called the lady back, because she had called me and said, are you going? Are you going to do it? And I was like, I don't know, I'm waiting to hear from her. So she said, okay, well, just call me back. So I called her back, and I said, well, we're going. She said, hold on a minute, let me get him on the phone. So she calls me and said, I can't get him, but I called both his phones. I'm waiting for him to call me back. So by the time Emily gets to my house, she texts me and says that I'm here, and I was texting her back, but the lady was calling me with Terrace on the phone, so I never pressed send. So now she's coming upstairs, so I go in the bathroom and trying to this arrangement. Uh-huh. So he couldn't understand me. Terrace, he talks with strong Jamaican accent. So he's like, just let me know. Good, just call me. And so I text him and said, I'm on my way. He said, good. That was the last I heard from him. So we're going. I'm not knowing how this is going to really play out. We get there, I go to the bathroom, we're going to try to text him because he was like, other folks was up before. I have no signal. So now I'm thinking I've got tickets, but how is this really laid out? Do we have tickets at the balcony? Do we have tickets how am I going to? So I'm thinking about that. I'm not panicking, but I'm just processing it. So we make our way all the way down to the stage because it was just a standing show on the floor and seated in the balcony. And so when he comes out, I'm sending this strong energy to say here. So I'm like behind Emily, the thing, and I'll point at her. So he does this. So I don't know if he's just saluting me like this is a thing to do, when you're on stage, or if you're saying I see you. And so I do it again later in the show. So now it's getting late, and I'm saying, okay, is he going to really do this tonight? And so, and I'm listening to every song because that's a whole nother story. But in gospel church, anybody can throw you the microphone and you pick up and go. So I'm listening and saying, okay, I don't know all his music every word. I barely know my own. So I'm listening to, and he, just in case, because he knew that I had just sang through the Orchard Sony. So that was kind of part of the intro too. So so I'm saying, okay, if he decides to give me the microphone, let me see if I can do this. So I didn't know all the songs. So anyway, he at the end picks up his phone and goes, hello, I'm in the middle of the show. Then he said, wait a minute. He said, is a guy named Alex here? Where is he? And so the band, so I'm like, what is he doing? So Emily was completely lost by now. And so I, had taken the ring out, put it in my back pocket. She didn't see me do that when I got out of the car, when I had my little bag, and I had put it in there. And I don't usually carry it, so she didn't even question what you going with the bag. And so, but it was small, so I had it, and so then I took it out the bag and put it in my back pocket while we were dancing behind her to the music. And so he calls me, then I go, then the security said, you can't go. They didn't hear him say, come. He said, no, somebody don't say. He said, come up. So I come up and I grab Emily by the hand. She don't know what's going on. And, she wondering why he calling a guy on stage. Usually call girls on stage. And so anyway, so I got up there and he's singing Stay With Me, John Legend. So I said, okay, I got this. So he said, asked me to sing, and I started singing, and he stops me. He said, wait a minute, don't you got something to say? And then I said, yes, and I started telling my story, and then I dropped down to Emily, she's shaking the whole time, like her favorite artist, and then the guy who's going to be her favorite guy.
With 2,000 people watching.
With 2,000 people watching.
Three actually.
Oh, 3,000.
Yeah, 1,000 off, but it was really, really great.
So when he says, I dropped down, so he literally gets down on one knee.
Yes.
And the crowd just went crazy because it was like a movie.
Gosh.
And the crazy thing
romantic.
is that two things about this whole story. One is Emily had always wanted to be proposed. I mean, it was like one of her wish lists it'd be great if I have a proposal at a concert. And I don't know if you remember the show Full House.
And he had no idea.
Yeah, I had no idea. She never discussed this. And then when I was a really little kid, I was singing on Full House. I jest them. We're at Disney World, and he had "Will You Marry Me?" Go this. So I used to tell my sister and brother, that's what I'm gonna do one out of a concert, and I'm gonna put it up. And so happened it happened just like I said years ago.
And are you thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, thank goodness also I got my nails manicured?
Yes. I was very grateful for that. Very
But the one
serendipitous.
finger, she had one finger, did you tell apart? That was a different color. You know how you have the styles?
Yeah.
It was the one that you put the ring on.
And to me that's like a new trend. So even to have that done then, and then okay, tell us. I know you just shared it, but did you start crying? I mean, what was going on in your mind, and did you think that this was happening?
I was in complete shock, to be honest. It was such a surreal moment, and I couldn't understand why Alex was pulling me up on stage because I didn't hear him, Taurus Riley say that, and I was like, why would he be calling a guy up on stage? That doesn't make sense. And I was like pulling him back down, And so, just staying up on there on stage and looking at him was it was a moment I'll never forget. It was incredibly romantic.
So romantic. Okay, with that, guys, we're going to go to a break. We're going to go to the other studio because there are a cameo appearance. There's something else that I want to discuss. I think it's very interesting. We're going to talk about that's not as traditional, right? I can say that. And Alex is going to sing for us again. So we'll be right back. Stay with us. I'm Sarina Fazan, a journalist, producer, and podcast host. With a background in television news, I know how much time and talent it takes to produce a broadcast quality production. But no more. Red House Streaming offers a simple, cost-effective method for capturing live action and streaming it in real time to YouTube, Facebook, or any other website. From single camera shoots or multi-camera productions, conventional
or virtual sets. And from the state-of-the-art Red House Streaming Studios to remote locations, the professional crew at Red House Streaming, backed by the technology and reputation of CP Communications, allows you to produce more content at a lower cost and with little to no engineering required. That's why my podcast, On the Record with Sarina Fazan, is streamed live from the Red House Streaming Studios each week. Contact Red House Streaming today at 800-762-4254 or online at cpcoms.com to learn more. I'll see you in the studio.
Hey guys, welcome back to On the Record. All right, Alex, what do you think of this set? Because this set was not here the last time you were back.
Yeah, I think it's a great set. I think I saw the pictures, so that's really cool.
Thank you. And what else is really cool? Do you guys see Rumi? Okay, cameo appearance. Do you know, okay, this is a record-breaking moment because this is the first time we've had one of our four-legged friends on the set. So okay, can he's behind the table.
Come here, buddy.
It's a he, right?
Yeah.
He's behind the table. So I wonder if we can pick him up and show everybody.
Oh
yeah.
Let's see. Let's see.
Come here, buddy.
Okay, so this is your this is your first baby,
Yes.
right? Like you may be anticipating. Am I allowed to ask that? You know, are thinking about having kids. You guys have got to. I mean, I would imagine you guys are going to have kids.
Yeah.
We hope so. Yeah.
Because you both come from. I mean, Alex, how many siblings? I
have 7
Yeah,
siblings.
seven. And how many do you have?
I have a twin brother.
Twin brothers. That's so sweet.
From
Okay.
1 sibling to 7, I mean, that's a lot.
Okay, so tell us about Rumi.
So Rumi is our 10-month-old mini Labradoodle. He is right now in training to become a service dog. So we'll be able to take him, on tour to, visit kids and read with them and go to the hospital. And he's a work in progress right now, but he brings us so much joy.
Adorable. Did you get him 10 months ago, or
Just about.
just about 10 months? So like,
We got
like
him
right
in
when he was
December,
born.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
beautiful.
was 1 month old when we got him, I think he was.
Well, here at CP Communications and Red House Streaming, we are very, very dog friendly. We're very animal friendly here, so we're so happy to have Rumi join us.
Thank you for having him.
And he's been exciting. All right, so we're going to talk about something which is quite interesting. First, and let me ask you. Because Alex is on the road so much, I mean, he's a celebrity, right? Not that you're not a celebrity in your own right, but can that be difficult at times to date someone that, oftentimes everybody's, oh, Alex Harris.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that? And again, you are a celebrity in your own right and beautiful, but how do you deal with that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that it is, in many ways, just a great reminder that we're all unique and we all have our own gifts, and there are moments where it's like, there's a lot of fanfare and things like that, but, Alex is so humble and down to earth, and, that's one of the things that I really, really love about him. And, I think it's just a great reminder, too, is just that we all kind of have our own unique gifts that we share.
Alex, how about you? With you, do you feel like because of the position you're in that you have to constantly remind your wife that she's the most important person to you?
Of course, I think that's that she's number one, and but I've always been that because I come from, as you said, a large family, and family is first. That's the family that we grew up in. Our dad is a pastor, and he was an educator. We retired as an educator, but still pastoring part-time. He was probably say full-time, but and mother educator. So there were always a lot of people around, but he and our parent, my mother, they always put us first, and so I think that's embedded into my DNA, or at least has become a part of my cultural practice, to make sure that family is first. And so wherever we are, and making sure that Emily is taken care of, and when Rumi travel with us eventually, and if we're blessed to have a child or children, then the same. I think that it would be very hypocritical of me or anyone that be all about community and on stage and on the spotlight and neglect to give the attention or take care of those who are family, right? And it's my household and then my siblings and my parents, and our extended family. And then, of course, I love the folks who support what we do, but it's in that kind of chronological order to me all the way.
I love the show too, and I love what you said, because it's unscripted, unedited, and we go anywhere and all sorts of topics. So you also saved yourself for marriage.
Yeah, that was one of the things. I think there's something sacred about sexual intercourse. And so it was a decision of mine. Probably it had a lot of influence from my religious background and that influence. But of course, when you get older, you can decide what you want to do. And I made that decision with all the travels, with my brothers traveling around, and we traveled all over the world, and made the decision to maintain myself from sexual intercourse until I found the special one, and
Well, okay, so Emily, so when did you find out about this? Because a lot of times, you
that
do
could
hear.
be a deal breaker, right?
Well, I don't know. Can it be a deal breaker? I don't know. Maybe, right? Because you do hear oftentimes, you hear more often that maybe a woman, saves herself. And okay, since I asked Alex, and we talked about this before the show, so I would not throw this bombshell at her. But you did not save yourself. Right?
No, I didn't. But I of course appreciate and respect deeply Alex's decision, and think it's a wonderful one. And you asked how I found that out, and I think Alex, because it is something that's significant and personal, he was kind of waiting for the right time to share that with me as we first started dating. And so I actually didn't find out, even after knowing him for as long as I didn't find out that information from him. It was actually from a close friend who shared that with me, and really loved both of us, and just wanted me to know that. And it was of course something that was deeply impactful, and that had a profound amount of respect for, and was something that was a beautiful blessing.
Well, when Alex just asked you, or asked at me, us here on the set, if that could be a deal breaker, do you think it could be a deal breaker for some people? It wasn't for you, clearly, but do you think it could be?
I don't think so. I would find it odd that it would be, because I think it just shows a level of sacredness, and I think that if there is a deep amount of love and respect between two people, kind of respect each other's decisions around that, and be able to come to a common, ground and understanding and appreciation.
Yeah. And and of course, clearly you guys love each other so much. You knew your story. But Alex, did it disappoint you that Emily did not make that same oath at the time?
No, not at all. I think it's a personal decision, and I don't think that has any kind of weighing on the individual and what they decide to do. It was something that I thought would be good for me, but if one chooses or never even been introduced to the thought, it's nothing. It's no judgment on either side, in my opinion. But it works perfectly, and so glad that she said yes.
I think I worked for an ABC station, right? So, and I honestly had to cover a lot of The Bachelor and The Bachelorette, and so that show became so popular, and it's popular because I think people are very intrigued with love and love stories and personal decisions, and and you don't. Whenever there was anybody on the show that saved themselves, especially a guy, I feel it just got a lot of attention. So I really appreciate, you sharing, that personal side, and so much of the personal side. So what advice before we get to hear Alex saying, what advice would you guys give couples out there? And I know we have talked about it throughout the show, but what advice would you give?
I think one of the biggest things is to really appreciate the authenticity of another person. And, I just don't think that you can change another person. And sort of, one of the things that I really love about Alex is just that, we've always had sort of a deep level of appreciation and respect for one another. And, life is an evolution and a journey. And so to be on that ride with each other when you're, yourself constantly evolving and growing, I think is really important. And then, another thing that I would say is that, communication, everybody says that, right? But I think for both of us, we have appreciated the ability to talk to somebody outside of the relationship, whether it's a therapist or a counselor, or, just different wise people, to get their advice. And, because I think we both have a high level of appreciation for that. And it's like, going to the doctors, like, don't wait till there's something wrong to do it. It's like, constantly it's like a garden where you have to water it, constantly and tend to it and nurture it in order to, have it grow healthily.
I love that comparison to a garden. That's so beautiful. Alex, one question I wanted to ask you before you give advice. They say that men, more so than women, know when they meet the right person. Would you say that? Like, do you feel like guys know?
That was something I would hear people say, and wondered, like, how does that really work, or how does that happen? And then, but when it happened to me, I knew it's, I don't know, again, it's something that can't be explained, and to not sound or adapt a cliche necessarily, but for the lack of a better expression, when you know, you know. And that's what happened. And in the beginning, like I said, when we first met, it was more attraction, and I've always been intrigued with love and love stories, and I used to like to just have conversation and interview people, like, what is love? And I had started writing this kind of a concept around love and all that kind of stuff, and I write a lot of love songs as well, and I wanted to know, but when it happened to me, I had a different level or deeper understanding about love and relationships and romance and friendships and so on and so forth.
So what advice would you share, and what advice would you share to young men who maybe also have chosen to, save themselves, and maybe they think that it's not I don't want to use the word more popular decision, but it's, it's more unconventional, right? So what advice would you have?
Well, I think two things. The advice for someone that decides to wait to have sexual intercourse with until marriage. I think that if that's what you feel and feel the calling for your life is, I think there's nothing greater than to stand for something. And in my church tradition, I would hear the older people say, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. Oh. And so I think that, having a stance for whatever it is, and be a believer in what you believe in, and not compromise that which you have strong convictions on, you won't lose, you only gain. And I can say that, every checklist or whatever you want to call it that you look for, that one would say, I want in a spouse, that's what Emily has. And so I didn't lose, I gained everyone, I didn't lose anything. So you don't have to compromise, and smart, intelligent, beautiful, and very forward-thinking and open-minded and great communicator. And so those are some of the short lists that I think pretty much what anyone would want, and whatever that means to the individual. And so that's what I would advise them.
And and honestly, it's great advice for shame on me for saying males, right? It's male and female, who are. So we appreciate that.
You're welcome.
And now, what a treat for us. So, Alex, what are you going to sing for us today?
I think, what did I sing last time? Falling for You?
Yeah, but believe me, we love that one. You can sing that again. What would you like to sing?
I'm going to sing to you a song, and I hope I remember the words, that I just wrote, a part of a song I just wrote with a gentleman by the name of Steve Cropper. Steve Cropper, if you know, of course you probably know who he is, but I love to say this because he is responsible for my influence, and I will have to put it to him this way the next time I talk to him, because he is the gentleman that gave Otis Redding his opportunity to sign with the Stax. And it is a possibility if he didn't take the audition on a day off when he was not doing auditions, we would have never heard Otis Redding sing These Arms of Mine. Wow. So I had a chance just a few days ago to hang out with Steve Cropper and to write a song called Time Shared. Time Shared. And it's a love story about how time moves on, and but it's when you find that special moment of love and you hold on. And in the bridge it says that I'll take a picture with my mind, and that way I'll have it all the time, and I'll keep it close inside. So when we talk about our proposal, we didn't have a video or a photographer, but we took a picture with our mind, and that way we have it all the time. And that's what makes it special and priceless.
Oh my gosh, okay, that is so romantic. Bailey, my intern, is here. Let's also record this on the phone. let's get this recorded on the phone. Okay, we're very excited, Alex. We're ready.
I'm singing the chorus, or we call it the hook, and then I'll go to the bridge that I just quoted. Okay. So it's very short, and it gets in your head. It's time keeps rolling on, and I keep holding on to you. Oh, you. And I'll take the good, the bad, all. I can spend more time with you. Ooh, time shared moments, these precious moments, forever with you. You. This is a bridge, and it's I'll take a picture with my mind. That way I'll have you all the time. I'll keep you close inside. You know the time keeps rolling on, and I keep holding on to you. Oh, baby, and I'll take the good, the bad, as long as I can spend more time with you. Oh, these precious moments, oh, time shared moments, forever with you.
Oh my God. Alex, that was beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Emily and Alex Harris, for going on the record and sharing your beautiful love story. I mean, we have to end with that, right? You can follow me on all my social media platforms. They're right there. Please share, like this video. I mean, we have to share it, right, with Alex. Oh my gosh. And if you go onto my website, we did a beautiful video, I thought, of your personal story.
Yes.
And so I would encourage people to watch that. I watched that video so many times. It's 6 minutes long, because every time I watch it, it honestly inspires me. You both are so inspirational.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Likewise, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And all of you watching.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.